Hey, what is going on, guys? It is the SMT back with another video. Glad you guys could make it back if you are a returning subscriber. Also, maybe this is your first time. Consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell so you never miss an upload from the SMT. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to rate it. Check out some of the links in the description box. We got the Patreon page. We got the SMT Wireless Report. That's the podcast. All the different podcast platforms got it available there. We also have ways to connect with the community in the form of our Twitter handle. You guys can check that out at SneedTech. And of course, if you want to take your cybersecurity more seriously, your social media security, please check out the megadon.net invite there. Support me and support yourself there with that particular accessibility. Much appreciated. Anyways, all those links are there, also to the second channel and so on. Check those links out. Anyways, today's video, let's talk a little bit about rural 5G and where it's at. So rural 5G is it's underserved, right? This is something that goes on with home ISPs, and we also, in terms of wireless, most of the new technologies and the advanced technologies always seem to go to urban, densely populated areas, and it makes total sense. They need the capacity, they have all the consumers to serve. But it is important that we serve all parts of the US. It is an indication of how successful our wireless networks are, and we want to be competitive nationally. We want to be competitive internationally, I should say. So that being said, here's a piece from Verizon. Verizon is not going to really be serving rural networks when it comes to 5G. So here's the case. Verizon does want to continue to deploy a stronger network, and they do want to support rural Americans, but they're not going to do it through 5G. They're going to be focusing on LTE and 4G advancements. The problem with this is there are certain applications and there are certain things in terms of connections that are going to require 5G. LTE has its limitations, and I'm not just talking speed. Speed's not really necessarily the issue here. It's actually, you think about it, it's the low latency, it's the instantaneous connections. LTE has its limitations. So that being said, Verizon is all in on millimeter wave. They simply could not provide millimeter wave connections nationally, especially in the rural settings. So according to the CEO of Verizon, LTE and 4G is enough for regular use. But again, like I said, they're leaving an entire gap of connections, and they're leaving an entire niche and segment to other providers to compete for. So Verizon is basically not going to be doing anything with 5G for rural America. Very disappointing. I know Verizon is going to be doing a lot with dynamic spectrum sharing, and they're going to be managing a very intelligent network. I'm sure it's going to get better, but they're not going to be exploiting a network segment that really could have some competition. So here's what I mean. If you think about it, AT&T is completely addressing this niche with Band 14 and its national rollout, that FirstNet, First Responders network. They're going to be addressing, 5G NR on the low band, which is going to be perfect for the rural setting. T-Mobile, to a lesser extent, also getting involved here. That leaves two carriers only for rural Americans if they want to get any access to 5G. So this is a situation where the rural versus urban setting, there's still going to be this digital divide with not enough competition for that setting. In my opinion, what Verizon is also stating that they're not interested really in mid-band 5G. They said they would consider it if it's economically feasible. They also have a network restraint there. Like, their network is becoming heavily managed in a lot of segments of the US. In certain markets become, pretty apparent that they're aggressively managing it. I think he's being a little bit disingenuous there. I do believe that they're not going to do much with 5G NR and rural. But again, with spectrum auctions now up and coming towards the end of the year for mid-band with the C-band spectrum, I think he's not being completely transparent or honest about what they're doing with their network moving forward. So in my opinion, expect T-Mobile and AT&T to try to exploit rural 5G rollouts. Looks like Verizon is out of that. They're going to be focusing on LTE and 4G improvements for that area. And, honestly, the lower latency that's required for certain applications, sensor technology, it doesn't really matter so much about just the speed, but it's the other connections, like I said. And it looks like it's going to be AT&T and T-Mobile for that. And of course, him being so disingenuous, saying things like, we've only deployed 60% of our spectrum holdings. they're experiencing congestion on so many levels in so many markets. I almost feel like, who are you trying to kid? You know, as a CEO, I know he's going to say and do certain things, but again, we're not falling for the okie doke. We know for a fact they've got to go in on some C-band. It makes zero sense for them to not get in on it. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated here on the channel, what they end up doing later on in the year as they continue to address rural build outs and deployment gaps in terms of serving those customers. Again, it's, in my opinion, an important segment that can't be overlooked and does have to be addressed. At some point, customers do need to be served, and AT&T probably gonna win this segment, I think, in my opinion. You guys let me know what you think of this particular set of news. There's more on this type of coverage on the Patreon page. Consider becoming a member, a community member there. There's a $1, $2, and $3 tier to give you early access to all the YouTube content, as well as exclusive videos and other perks that are all part of the benefits package of being a patron on the SMT Patreon. That's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this update. Go ahead and drop me a line in the comment section below. Anything you want to chime in on, give your opinion, describe your viewpoint and perspective. The SMT Nation pulse is important to the SMT. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Anyways, like this video on your way out. If you haven't done so already, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload from the SMT. I think I'll leave it at that. Lots of content up and coming. Stay tuned to the channel. Hopefully you guys come back real soon. I am the SMT, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.